Alright, we are now streaming, we are now recording. Sukhoi, Olaram, Baljate Tor, Nervode, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 12 of The Way of the Mandalore, Keepers of the Way official podcast. I am your host, Kadale Kabor. We are joined by Kendall Drashea, Dirge Delamort, Talon Ryut, and Rainiana. Ooh, and Zelnamore decides to pop in. Sweet. So we're gonna Sukhoi. We're gonna start off by another reading of this month's Tenet, which is number 7 still. As soon as I can scroll up and get there. So, Tenet 7. A Mandalorian must not discriminate against another person based on anything but their actions. Race, gender identity, political affiliation, nationality, sexual orientation, economic status, disability, race, religion, all that good stuff must have no bearing for Keepers of the Way. Actions alone define an individual. This extends to those outside of the Way. They are to be treated fairly. Those who follow a different religion are not to be treated disrespectfully based on said religion. Should their beliefs place them in direct opposition to the Way, they must still only be judged according to their actions. All are equal under the helm. This is the Way.
This is the Way.
So, we're not actually going to have a discussion topic this week. This episode is purely language, which I think is what we're going to start doing.
Cultural aspect.
Cultural as in the way that it reflects on language.
And I was under the impression I was going to give a brief relay on that. Or a brief discussion.
We can. I suppose we can. Because I think we pretty much... I thought we had discussed it enough the last 2 podcasts. Seeing as this is the 3rd one for the month.
Well, I'm specifically referring to the synvetting in relation to new people coming to you that already have a reputation.
Right, and I did see that message. And that's...
I could have sworn that we talked about that last podcast as well.
We might have, but remember, Talon and Rainiana have not been here for a couple sessions.
That is fair.
And that being the case, Rainiana Neridor.
We would be more than happy to hear your thoughts on it, though. So take it away. Give us your opinions and thoughts.
Well, my thought starts out with a question. How often have you met someone that before they came into your life, you're given a rundown of their personality, the kind of person they are, and it was nothing but bad news?
My answer might surprise you. None.
Well, then that kind of blows my whole topic out of the water. Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry.
What was the question?
Hearing about someone's reputation before meeting them.
Your reputation precedes you kind of situation in a negative aspect.
So for me, it will depend on which perspective it's coming from. If it's me doing the talking about others, I try to only give facts of experiences I've had with them. I have someone here at my current location who has shown themselves to not be a very good individual as far as the military is concerned. They are getting separated, however, they keep getting in trouble. I have had to inform people to make sure to keep an arm's length from them. Otherwise, they could end up getting drawn into their wrongdoings, and another sailor has found that out the hard way.
Ooh.
What happens when warnings are not heeded? So, as a keeper of the way, when telling someone, when being the one to talk about others, I make sure to only give facts.
And on the flip side, told,
I will,
like, say in a work
of,
situation,
mm-hmm.
say someone says, oh, this supervisor, as an example, complete douchebag, can't work with them. They're only going to ride you hard and put you up wet throughout the entire shift, only to find out, I could have a beer with this guy. He's decent.
In situations like that, if I were to hear something, I do like the good saying and take it with a grain of salt.
Indeed.
Because all we're seeing is a certain point of view. To quote Obi-Wan Kenobi.
When it comes to a situation, it is a matter of perspective. In situations like that, I will be a little cautious when interacting with someone in that regards, but I will not be like, I will not have the prejudice of going into them as if I know who they are.
Right. Because we're going to go in reserved, but we're not making any judgments until we get to know them.
Well, with the personal experience I've been going through, as some of you may know, recently started a new job, and there's a particular person that I work with on my shift that everyone had been warning me about. Older gay male. Apparently, every white person is out to get them. They are, in their words and everyone else's, a bitch. Like, a rude bitch.
The older gentleman?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, over the last 3 months, talking to them occasionally during my shift, I found out the one quote-unquote white person that is out to get them, that person is actually a kind of a douchebag.
Jen, you be quiet.
Oh, I thought you're... Never mind. But,
no, Dog was hearing something outside and making her guarding noise.
I thought you were telling her not to talk bad about you. But, basically,
well, I mean, she could be calling me an asshole. I don't know.
I got to get to know the gentleman in question. They're actually very fun to be around. Last night, we talked for a good solid hour about different mechanical aspects of cars that, I didn't think they'd be interested in. It turns out the one person they say has it out for them, a supervisor that's not even on my line, very unpleasant fella. In his words, he's not there to be liked. While that's true, he takes it to an extreme.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not at work to be liked, but at the same time, I'm not going to be a dick about my job. Unless someone forces me to be.
And to a degree, you should have at least you should be congenial with your staff.
Yeah.
As much as it allows for.
You don't need to be liked, but you should still be cordial.
Oh, yeah. And especially being in the position of leadership that I am in. I am in a supervisor level position.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be a step or two removed just because of that. I can be friendly, but at the same time, I can't be like,
you cannot please everyone.
Left. I'm sorry?
You cannot please everyone.
Exactly. I have to set standards, hold standards, and I cannot let people get away with stuff just because I'm trying to be a friend with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, I'm going to go back in my career, back to when I was working at Walmart retail the first time. I'm not saying that I was friends with the managers, but they were avoiding punishing me for certain things that they were punishing other people for, apparently. I did not know about this until a certain sit down about a month or two before I left, because this was around the startup of Christmas time, where layaway starts, like hot and heavy layaway.
Mm-hmm.
So we had gotten the Connex containers outside, and they were getting locked up. Apparently, I had forgotten to relock one of the containers before I came back inside. So one of the assistant managers brought me into the back office, set me down, and was telling me about this. Because this is something that she could have lost her job over, too.
Mm-hmm.
And, yes, I got written up for that. Because it's a...
safety concern.
No, not a safety concern.
Loss prevention concern.
Yes, but that's not the reason I was getting written up for. I'm trying to remember the exact... what's it called when you write someone else up, but you don't write the another person up for the same thing? What is that?
Favoritism or nepotism?
Favoritism is the closest, but it's not the term that I was looking for.
Bias?
No, it starts with a C. I know that. Why the fuck can I not think of this word right now?
My ex-fiance, Cindy?
What's that, Dirge?
My ex-fiance, Cindy?
No.
No.
It's not complacency.
No, not complacency. But it's on the same level of favoritism, but it starts with a C. I'm gonna feel so fucking stupid when I actually think of the word. All right, fuck it.
Been there.
Looking for synonyms of favoritism.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Isn't
Cronyism?
Biased or selective reporting?
No.
Could it have been cronyism?
Chauvinism?
No.
Chauvinism?
Let's play the Mandalorian favorite game. Name that word.
Right.
Cronyism?
No. I'm not seeing it in there.
Classism? Classist? I don't know.
God, it's gonna.
Contivitis?
Mm.
Commiseration?
You said Vitus.
I'm trying not to laugh so hard at that. But no. Where would my little fidget? Okay. Fidgeting with this little, don't know, cuticle tool thingy. I couldn't find
Is the
it.
word you're looking for cuticle?
Nope. It is not cuticle. Oh. God damn, why the fuck can I not think of that damn word now? This is completely derailed what we were talking about.
Well, since it's derailed, I'm going to be using contivitis as a descriptive a lot more now that I thought it up.
That's pretty nepotistic of you. He has such a proclivity for it.
See, now that he has access to a thesaurus, his vocabulary just exploded.
I think you have a bias and prejudice against me now. Because
I mean, not just
cuntivism. Oh. But yeah, it basically the favoritism they were showing me by not writing me up when they were writing other people up. And now that I'm in basically the same position she's in, I have to learn from my experience and apply that at work. If that makes sense.
It does. And that's a different way of looking at the point I'm trying to get across. Have you had a worker come from you from another supervisor that you were warned about that turns out everything was either overblown or just completely untrue? Turned out the person was a good worker, just placed with the bad manager.
I cannot say that I have, because during my time when we had second shift, we did not have anybody swap shifts. They were either directly hired for first shift or they were directly hired for second shift.
No,
as a
you
new
keep derailing
employee.
my point.
I realize, I understand that, and I'm sorry, but it just doesn't apply to my workplace.
Have you ever had this? No.
Have you ever had
I'm
this?
trying to think,
Nope.
because I'm pretty sure I have been in a situation like that.
I mean, I was in a situation like that in my last place of employment, to the point where in the interview, the general manager referred to the head chef as the "see you next Tuesday." Although it didn't actually prove that they were wrong, the individual proved that was how they are. But I mean, I did at least give them the chance to dig their own grave, you know.
Right, and that's the way to do it. Yeah, you might have been warned, but at the same time, you're going to go in with a fresh perspective and make your own judgments. You just happen to go in with advanced warning that this actually was true.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever had that kind of warning in a job interview, though. It's like, well, but yeah, I gave the person their own lead to hang themselves with, and they did a very good job of that.
That's just what I'm getting.
If it helps, I went back to work someplace. I took the job a second time, and the general manager warned me against myself because he thought I still worked there.
That's funny.
This guy will say stuff that will offend you. When this becomes the case, just come to me and let me know. Like, okay, and what's his name? He said my name.
And what
I
did
was
you
like,
say?
yeah.
It's like, you know that's me, right?
I'll definitely tell you if this guy says anything untoward, like unfit towards me. This is back when I had
and did
really
he?
bad self-esteem, so I really did not want to. I wasn't going to last long if I kept my word.
And did he ever say anything untoward towards you?
Daily. He even touched me inappropriately once, but that's a different story.
Oh, sounds like Father O'Leary all over again.
I mean, considering I was the employee at hand, probably
Yeah.
wrong choice of words there. But
Employee at hand.
I can't really, take myself to HR for sexual harassment. I mean, I could, but
I
one's gonna
really
believe
wanted it.
I-
Kendall, are you by any chance streaming?
Working on it.
Okay. I should have asked like 20 minutes ago, but I just thought about it.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm currently working on it. It's having to update.
Ah. So I think now would be a good time to transition to language, and we will start by translating the Tenet, unless Talon has already done that, which I hope he has.
Nirmeshla Redor has already done so.
Yay!
It's in Mandalore podcast. Chat.
Okay.
I got it.
I learned something about our language yesterday, folks.
Mm.
Some things don't translate as well as you might imagine.
Oh, but it doesn't have the...
For instance, the statement of no hope doesn't really translate too well in our language.
We also have no word for hero and no word for love.
Yeah.
Technically, the word for no violence, as in you mean no harm, you would say something like tengana, meaning open hand. So closed fist, technically confrontation, but nakla is peace.
So I'm gonna do my best to sound this
I was
out.
gonna say, you want to do it, or shall I?
We'll both do it. I'll do it first, and then you can do it. How about that?
Alrighty.
Considering his position as Saad Johad, or Saad Joha, Zell can do it.
I'm sorry, my chopped liver? I'm fucking Joe Hassad too. Fuck you, sir.
What did I miss?
I find it quite interesting, so I will be listening carefully to both views because I'm trying to place a sound. I need to hear it. So
what
good
is
luck.
this new rank that we speak of?
It's in the Mandalore podcast channel, and it's the Tenet. Both me and Zell are going to try to sound it out because there's no pronunciation guide with it. So here's my attempt. Ein mandoade no enteo duranir ashiade runkibrik jetorish balshi solusish dekesh nare ade agolish hat runi alit verborish Tome droten, siarkopad, porari pana, mir shupor, rabarara, barla, na aras, and then there's 3 B's. That's what was that supposed to be?
Down
Down at the bottom.
ECT, bal bed bat, and so forth or so on.
Okay, so there was an etc. Okay, gotcha. So that's Bal Bidbot, Inteo Gana, Nu Jori, and isn't par, P-A-R, the translation for 4? So it would be Nu Jori Par Ke Borbe Teruni. Nare Solus Kuyi Ori Wadasla, Ibik Kuyi Mi Dinur, Ti Ibashe, Dane, Beteruni, Kesh Gishkoyi, Ru Dinui, Ihatgan, Ibasi, Meg, Shekemir, Ashi Urman Yuste, Nutkoyi, Duranir, Jorko B. Kaish, Urman Yust, Vegishbana, Kesh Kuyi Aruela, Atte Runi, Kesh Kuyi Su Koyir, Ru Geshi, De Kesh Nari, An Kuyi Sol Su Sol, this one I'm not sure of, Cure, Te Boishe, Ibik Runi. So that last one, the Ibik Te Runi, we have simplified it to Ibik Runi, for this is the way.
Technically, it means this soul, but yeah.
I was also kind of not sure of how we address ourselves in Mandalore as keepers of the way. So that's very mechanical translation. Probably a bit too wordy.
Just a little. I think I did pretty good, though.
Mm.
I think so. I could be completely wrong.
You did very good.
Thank you. Because
The
some of
English
those
translation
words,
has a lot more, if that makes sense.
I think the only thing that helped me was the fact that I have been doing this for long enough that I have started to become a little accustomed to how the words are supposed to sound.
Mandalore is gender neutral, but vice versa with the Tenet, it's also very neutral, especially when it comes to sexuality. So it's hard kind of to discriminate without being blunt. So some words were put in place to try and stay close to the original. So discriminate as Durania, to hold in contempt.
Right.
So.
Alright, Zell. Your turn.
Alrighty. I'm probably not going to be as fluently necessarily as you were, so I might stutter a bit in regards to some of the things that
I stuttered too. I wasn't perfect.
Kegish etad Ian Mandoa de Nuenteo Duranir Ashiade Run Kebrik Jet Torish Baoshi Solasi de Keish Nari Aade Agolish Haat Runi Ali Alit Ver Borish Tome Troten Shiar Kopad Borari Bana Mir Shupur. Okay.
And you just screwed up where he was at.
It did.
He was like, that just
Where
jumped.
Was I?
You would have been at the second line. You're Mir Shupor.
Yeah. Mir Shupur Ra Ba'ar La Naras Balvipat Enteo Gana Nujori Par Kabur Beteruni Nares Solas. Trying to remember how he said for this combination.
Koyi.
Koyi.
Or you're talking about the next word.
The Koyi.
If it's easy.
Koyi Oriwa Daas La Oriwa Dasla Ibik Kuyi Medinuri Di Ibashe Dain Bete Runi Kaish Gaish Shuyi Rudin Nui Ijat Gaan Ibashi Meg Shekemir Ashi Urman Yushte Nush Shui Duranir Jorshu Bekaish Urman Yus Vegishe Bana Kaish Shui Arura Aruetla Atte Runi Kaish Shui Shuir Ru Kaishi De Kaish Nare An Suir Solo Sosol Shur Te Buish Ibik Runi. I know I butchered a few parts there. But
It's not easy, especially if you're reading it with no pronunciation. And when one...
I'm trying to remember some of the changes that we've also put in place that we're going to be putting out as well.
There's probably too many queers in it. I could have used koi, but in terms of formal writing, that would affect it. Still classed as a verb, so it would fuck conjugation. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I can try and butcher it, but Kagishe etad. Ein mandoade nuentio duranir. Ashi ade rukebrik. Je torish. Bausi solutish. Dekaish nare. Aade golish hatruni. Ali alit verboishe. Tomidrotten. Kuyarkupad. Borari bana. Mirshipul. Ra. Barlana aras. Babi ba. Enchio. Danat nu jori. Par kabu. Betirune. Nari solos queer oriwadasla. Ibik qui medunir te ibase. Dain betirune. Kaish gishikoi. Ru denoi. Ijatgan. Ibase meg shekemir. Ashi umran gustie. Nu koi duranir. George Bikaish. Urman just. Vigishibana. Kaish kui. Aru ra. Aruella. Atirune. Kaish kui. Sukuir. Urugishe. De kaish nare. Han kui. Sosolchur. De boishe. Ibikrune. And it is clunky, very close to the English, and could do with being shortened. The GYC with the beaten is part of Taujia's modal system, so has must, shall, and should. But in theory, the more one speaks, the more familiar someone gets to the text. We take it for granted that in English we can rant off big massive sentences, because we are very over familiar with them. And especially with a language you're learning, or teaching, yourself, the passion is there, but it takes time for the brain to get fast at it. Would anyone else like to try trying it?
I'm actually working on getting the pronunciations set up a little bit. Okay.
The pronunciation is being revamped. I did post in Sajoha the closer phonetic pronunciation, but I can build it later. It took a while to translate it because I didn't want to drop key meanings. But I can say we have no words really for gender identity, political affiliation, sexual orientation, no word for status. We also don't have a word for treatment, as in to treat someone. So it's hard to apply that.
I mean, some of this will get worked out over time too.
English is very over-specific, and Mandalore sometimes likes it being simple.
Mandela was very blunt.
I think it's raining outside.
No, it's not.
For me, it is. I think. Yeah, it is. I can
So-
distinctly hear it on my AC outside.
One thing I had a question about is more about like the language structure per se, I guess. But like, okay, so you know how like in English I'll say I read this or I heard this. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or so and so said this, right? But like I know there's other cultures where it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's not just like that simple. When you go to like say you've heard something from somebody, it's actually super specific to that.
Mandalore has multiple tenses. Normally, if it's written colloquial, it's what's called present tense, meaning it's happening now. But to form the past tense, you're I heard, or ed, as in I read that. It follows vowels, but it would either be ru or r. So if you look at the short version, you've noticed that I have done which one was it? Judged. So I said rugishi, or rugishi, which is actually from rugishia, which means to judge. So I'm inferring something is judged. So the ed is with the ru. So where does it work? So in English it goes to the end, in Mado it goes to the beginning. You only have to use it if you're being very specific.
Okay, so I've got a question for you. Just because I'm doing the pronunciations, I'm using the words that you have in there. The nari, the keish nari. Is that supposed to be an E, or is it supposed to be narir, but you just drop off the R? The verb of act or do. It's Narir, and you've got Nare. So I'm wondering.
I'm going for actions.
Okay, even so, nari, the move, act, action, or act is still Nari. So is that a typo, or is that a different word that I'm not seeing?
Kaish nari. Nari is from resonare. So nari means action. Nar on its own would mean action. So the 6 actions, resonare. So I'm saying we judge on our actions. The E is to imply actions.
Okay, it's the pluralizer?
Yes.
Okay.
So that E is the plural. So
it's still the same pronunciation, it's just different spelling.
There is a bit of confusion, especially if you look at Karens, of what's actually happening with Nari and Naria.
No, I'm looking at Tall Jairs, because that's the only pronunciation giver that I currently have.
Mm-hmm. So Tall Jairs basically says, on his website, he says it can mean activity or behaviour, but it roughly means moves, action, or acts with the E. There is a bit of confusion over so Taji has 2 different ones. He's got Nar, which means liability, obligation, or commitment. And then he's also got another Nar, which means move, actions, or acts, and that is related to Resonari. There is also Resonari, as in Nari, which Karen recorded without that I. That is because that is a good round.
You have answered my question.
Welcome to the joy of Mandalore Plural Hell.
No, you're fine. It's the same pronunciation, it's just a different letter which indicates a plural instead of the singular I. So that answers the question. Thank you.
From his website, but you will find that some sounds will sound very similar and they're hard to figure out, especially if you listen to voice. It's a bit like if you take the word guichet, you will notice it's GYCE from Karen, and that is because that is actually made from an adverb. So that's why some words will end, YCE and YCA. That A or A is forcing it back into being a noun. So in theory, you're nouning an adverb. But the sound is the same. any E that Karen Travis is doing is normally A, or in Talgears it's A as in day. And in Mandalore there's only two different sounds. Of that you've got either A or I, as in high, as in Ihan. An interesting thing to remember about, let's say if you listen to Karen Travis's audio, is that the word for tea, she, was once chick. And boyshe was also once boyche. So in theory, as long as you can get the meaning across, if there is any slight pronunciation changes, there's still a good chance you'll be understood.
Okay, so here's another one for you. The verboreish, the second line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 in. The, again, using Tal Jair, I found verboreish, which doesn't have the E on the end. Again, I'm assuming that's a pluralizer.
No, that was me creating a noun. He has an objective for loyal, and
okay,
I made loyalty.
I see that now.
So with that E, it flips to the noun. It just makes it very awkward to plural them nouns, but quite a well-known one is Tola and Tolase.
Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, the noun pronunciation is what I need. So I know verbor is gonna verborish is gonna stay the same.
Verborische.
Okay, so it'd be SAY added on to the end.
Okay. You just have to add the AY as in kote. So it's like
Okay.
she as in sha.
Verborish A.
Mhm.
Ish A. Okay, gotcha. No S there.
The E basically takes the sound because it's the plural. It would take the sound unless you're being archaic and adding
Okay.
a. It takes the A as in day.
Gotcha. See, learning a little bit here.
Well, with speaking with Zell, we are trying to make the pronunciation at least more specific.
American.
Well,
Not American.
Is that it?
I mean, we could try and make it American, but there is there's certain sounds we all share, and for example, Karen Travis designed the Mandalore language to really only have one type of R, which is Adan and Gan, so a short and a long. But when she speaks, you can hear different R's, and we know that there was a as in cart, which is an A with an E, and it's smashed together, and it's a sound. She only confirmed one word, which was our part of where that was. So here there is no wrong pronunciation.
It's a good thing
In
I
theory-
didn't crack my windows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the only rules, which sounds redundant, but if you have YC, the ish, if it has a high vowel, meaning there is a, I, a, o, or e. Unlike with there's a consonant, it does not gain the E sound, it doesn't need it. You can put it into Beautiful Pacific, but so it's not hoish, it's hoish. But it is still, preference.
Here's another question for you. Borari. I found borarir, which is the verb for work.
That is working. That is a verb acting as a noun. I'm saying working happen or working situation. Banar can mean, what happened, what situation. We don't really have a separate word for situation, so I'm trying to say circumstance.
So
working happening.
By taking off that R,
it becomes a ground, meaning it becomes ing.
Okay.
So when you asked about Nari and Narir, Karen Travis records Nari, and she also has Narir. They are the same thing. She's just recording different tenses of that, so it's different forms of the verb. So if I said queer, which means to be, but if I said what's happening, Tionbana. But if I said Tionbanar and left the R, that's like what question to happen. which would not translate well, but Mandalore verbs all contain the definition of to, plus the verb. But to form ing, or if the verb becomes active, you just drop the R. In theory, if it changes tense, you drop the R. So a gerund is when a verb acts as a noun, which is what happens when we put the ing on English verbs. In English, it's quite simple because we don't, have to always connected to that. We have a word for to, but in Mandalore, the verb, to go is the same as the word go, so it is all combined. Hence why sometimes more infinite, meaning with the R, forms of a verb will show until it changes tense or becomes ing or goes past tense, which can be hard to gauge because if there's a conjunction, then you restart the sequence. There was a big discussion on gerunds. It was a very early problem in Mandalore, from 2006, because people wanted a suffix for it. So in that case, I was saying working situation. Mir Shapur is a signal. It's a mark of respect, if that makes sense. In Mandalore and the Mandalorian culture, any type of form of disability, whether it was through war or born, was not discriminated against, if that makes sense.
It does.
And the wording how in English disability works for us is not the same in Mandalore. Mandalore is a bit specific. So one is Mir Shapur, implying that in theory the brain was shrunk. And Bala Naras basically means if you're physically not the same, if there's something wrong, or not wrong, but different. As in, someone could have been struck in the face. They could have been born with a cleft palate and known as to be judged. It's very human behaviour to judge people off appearance, whether it's your skin colour or if someone wears earrings, you might assume that they're a rough person, let's say, like if they've got tattoos. But in Mandalore, it's fairly gender neutral, and it's also hard to imply some of the tense meaning because that is a foreign culture concept, if that makes sense.
Right.
We do not have it. We don't really have it. Not implicitly.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Kando, you do remember, I don't know if you realized it, but that's what Wes Mitten was trying to tell you when he said he was going to go win the game. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I know.
You dirty bastard.
That's great.
You were just you weren't
you were collateral on that one.
No, you were too quick because then we could have included Dirge.
You just have
by
to
the way,
say
Dirge
then...
lost the game.
What is this game you speak of?
It don't work like that, and you know it.
I know it now, so I can't really say that anymore. But there was that one time I got to say cleanly,
Mm-hmm.
I saw your message about 6 minutes ago. Now apparently, my my internet browser was covering. I saw your name, but I didn't see the message, so I moved the window. I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
I have the power to do so. In fact.
What? Delete his message?
No.
Do I have that?
Don't
You
do
should.
it. No. That's wrong. Why?
Pardon me, folks.
Can't delete mine.
Damn it!
But, so
Why?
Because we can.
I mean, it's
Okay, that one was not me. That one was not me.
Oh shit! I didn't realize I banned. Oops.
Yeah.
How do I unban?
You're gonna have to go do exclamation or backslash unbanned and then his name.
Who are you trying to unban?
Oh, here I might be able to. There we go. I took care of it.
Oops. My bad, Kando. I thought that was gonna delete your message. I didn't. I didn't mean to ban you.
Oh, it deleted. It deleted it, all right.
Yeah, it did. Whoops. I could time him out. Not right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, there are some things that me and Rainiana have been in talks in regards to some of the double letterings on some of the vowels being more so of them being more emphasized and elongated, similar to how in Japanese you have words like obasan and oba-san, where one is aunt, the other is grandma.
Another thing to consider is the Latinization, which is, how Karen Powers wrote it, versus some of the sounds she's giving. And so in theory, E should always either be, A, as in, D in my accent, or E. But it can be hard at speed. Karen she's writing a very old system that has not been used for 20 years. But it's a very primitive way of doing actually IPA. So she's showing stress by going high and low. And as she's saying some sounds, you can see what she's trying to mean, but she's also trying to keep it regular. So if you take Taldir's, throne, which he has it as O, Karen does not. She says it's thron, O, and she actually writes AW. So that is the O's and so, versus the O as in, kote, which is similar to the O as in coffee. So one is a slightly different sound. With merges of the alphabet, you could say kaish instead of kaish. Kaish is how Karen wrote it. So it's I isn't high. However, if one reads the pronunciation and defaults to a normal way of speech, that's not wrong. So kaish and kaish would, in theory, be the same. It's also a bit like the beatings, while they mean a stop. In Canada, said you don't always have to pronounce them, or like do a full massive stop and then keep going. You can just say the word as one block, and you will be understood. There's only a few words that break that, but that's like carota and lorveram, which are when two consonants are smashed. So the beatings trying to show a little help about. If anyone does, only side I can see it, but to see a rough pronunciation, check the server, you'll see the revamped, where I've started separating some vowels, more for ease on speed. Or an example is, so when the armourer is saying the numbers and she says cure, she's not saying queer, or queer, she's saying cure, but she's saying cure with an O sound, as in so. Not cure, which kind of sounds more Norse. So the language will naturally flex between your different accents. Or she says ein and not ein. So she could be saying 1, 2 and a K. Or as the subtitles are saying, she's trying to say 1, 2, 3, 4. The word for a and an is very similar in pronunciation to 3. Even if it is, I'm talking about, let's say, Duolingo. We practiced or we wrote basically gibberish. But at speed, if someone can learn, their brain naturally starts to adjust to the pattern and they quickly recognise it. So it's a bit like singing a song. You remember the tune, versus if you're training your brain. It is normal to, not to struggle, but it's normal to try harder. Meaning your words might be overpronounced or stilted, you're stopping. But the effort is still there. Mandalore is not really designed for long wordy sentences.
Alright, so here's another question for you. The Ori Wadasla. The Wadasla that I am seeing has a double A between the W and D.
Yeah, that is you're also referring to like Dinwadar, and that one's quite complicated. As in, it's kind of an accidental mistake by Karen Paris.
I'll be back in just a minute.
When Karen wrote Wadasla, she spelled it two different ways. One was W-A-D, and the other one was Wad, meaning W-A-A. So
but is it the same pronunciation?
Identical pronunciation.
Okay.
But it is a spelling issue. I have defaulted to Karen because I'm quoting the how she wrote, which was how you are as a parent is more valuable, But you will find with sometimes with Karen Travis, where there should be two R's, there could be one, and then it could move to the next one. So I will change it to Taldias, but I was writing at speed.
No, you're fine how you had it. I just needed clarification from me.
Taldia changed all the words to WAED. I went with how Karen wrote on Mandalore. So
sometimes I've had to take bits and pieces of the words to get the pronunciations for certain parts. Oh, lost Urge again.
I did not have time. It took me an hour to translate that. Because I had to find missing words that we have no words.
And so far, it's taken me about a half hour to get the pronunciations. So that's not surprising.
I'll post this in the Mandalore topic, so it doesn't. So you might see it ping, but it won't distract.
No.
That is how. So that's how Karen wrote that. But then when she gets to the phrase, it kind of goes a bit. So the phrase she writes, I'll just take the Mandalore.org if I can make it obey me. So Karen Travis basically said that her Excel sheet was autocorrecting. And she also was not checking her Excel. So she sometimes has, I think she's got 3+ words per vote.
Yeah.
So she's adding a little bit as she goes. So pronunciate, at least with writing, you might be able to find a related word. But for most cases, sounds actually matter. So that makes you know the difference between like thrown, or if you were to take words like aras. Because it's not eras, it's aras. But if Karen does AI, that's so it's not a sayer, it's actually sire, which is confusing. She writes father, but she's actually being she's introducing a gender that in theory does not exist there.
Okay, so another pronunciation question. On the line of Keish Gish Kui. Am I pronouncing that right? Can you do me a favor and help me spell out the pronunciation of GYC?
Yeah. If I remember right.
Gish. So you really want the Gish.
Geesh.
Okay, and that's what I was thinking because I was looking at Geishin and Geishir, but I didn't know if I wanted to if we needed to take off the SH of Sheen for GYC, and that answered my question. That's what I thought.
You could add she, as in add a vowel there for the transition.
Hey, Julia.
It's hard to answer that one because it was not really coded. The beaten is hiding an E sound or an E. So if someone wanted to say, Gishkuir, they could. But if they wanted to say Gishikuir, you also could. I just defaulted to Taldia's
Yeah,
standard.
no, that's fine. I again just clarifying for what I'm doing. Because hopefully this will help multiple people, not just Zell, see the pronunciations.
I'll add the E in to help the pronunciation, but it's not really needed, but it helps with the flow, if that makes sense. So it's kind of preference.
There, okay, yep. Just want to make sure I'm spelling the pronunciation the same way every time. Because I knew when I was doing Kuyi, or Kuyi, I wanted to make sure I was taking both E's instead of shortening it to Kooye instead of Kooyee. Does that make sense? Because that would make it look like it's being pronounced a different way, even though it isn't.
In terms of formal, I should have put the, for me, speed, I don't need it. The reason is that the beaten can act as a helper vowel, meaning it helps carry a sound, and it's why, like, so say if two YCs meet or an SH, so
Sorry.
Dushish is spelt with two very similar sounds. There's sh, beaten, sh. In that context, the beaten creates the E sound, so it's dushish, and helps the sound carry instead of dush kind of thing. So you can have, so in some cases beatens could hint at lost sounds, as in carota. versus you could just overbeaten a word.
Right.
I think the practice is no more than 2 beatings in 1 word, or it gets a bit scary. Normally beatings show a join, or something's going on. Well, I will mute for 1 minute. I have to go let my dog out.
So
How's
everybody else
that was a
doing?
confession.
Who let the dogs out?
Yes, it was my rude order.
Arf.
It was Aru. It's always Aru.
Are we still recording?
Yes, we are still recording.
Say whatever you want.
I'm not saying the next sentence that was coming out of my mouth.
I can edit. Well, yeah, we're streaming too, so be careful.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for the. No, we're good.
What were you gonna?
It's just some inane dirge rambling, nothing more. Yeah.
Let's say, as long as it's not offensive, we should be good.
I mean, definitely lewd, but not appropriate for streaming content. I'll just say that.
I mean, define offensive.
I don't want the ABC army after me.
So, here's a fun one. Does anybody simply know how to say hi or hello? My name is in Mandoa? Because that's how lacking I am on my studies. Fully admitted.
Sequoia, near guy, Talon Riot.
Sequoia near guy, Dirge. Yeah, okay.
Left.
Gotcha.
Or if you're talking on the phone and you want to say this is, it would be Ibiki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ibiki Kabur.
I'm used to-
Kadare
probably
Kabur. Kabur.
There we go. All right. Well,
So, fun fact: the only reason I know that is thanks to Rebels and what's her goddamn name?
Sabine Wren.
Sabine. Yes. When they go to Mandalore, she says Ibiki Sabine Wren, and someone translated that for us as being "This is Sabine Wren."
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
I am Sabine Wren, but this is Sabine Wren.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense on the fact of Epic Rudy, this is the way, right?
So I'm actually starting to get used to certain pronunciation spellings now.
Oh God,
That's a good thing, though.
he's evolving.
Eventually, he'll be able to read.
Words. Oh,
that's funny. I like that one.
What the words?
It reminds me of Hamlet.
We've almost entered into
After hours?
yeah.
Well, as soon as I get done with this translation, which I'm close to be done with 1, 2, 3, the 4th line, one of the longest lines, the 2nd longest line. I'm at the Nukoyi Duranir part, so I've just got 1, 2, 3, 4 more words of that line.
I mean, if you want, I could try and do all the tenants and put pronunciation, but it might take me a while, so
That's fine. It's not like we need them done immediately, because we only do 1 tenant a month. It's not like we do a tenant a week.
meaning more so that no one dies in pronunciation hell. Typing it.
Yeah. Like me right
Yeah,
now.
you've kind of taken on that mantle on your own.
Get out of my trash can, dumbass.
No. You can't make me.
Stop being a trash
You're a
panda.
rat. You're supposed to be in the trash.
And what do you mean the one pronunciation a week? I do it daily.
No, not at this level of what I'm doing right now.
Debatable.
Well,
Are you translating everything she just posted with the tenant in one sitting?
Functionally over the course of many days.
I'm doing it in one sitting. Like she did. Not in 3 or 4 days.
Are we really playing Who's Bigger?
Yes. And
I'm
I'm
6
winning.
foot 198.
I'm 5'1" and can fuck all yous up.
That's
She
because
is-
you're a
she is
cat.
correct
That's
on
expected.
this.
I'm Canadian? Question mark.
I'm Canadian.
Is that supposed to be a flex?
I think that's more of a detriment to you.
Yeah. That's what I was like. Is that supposed to be a flex? Question mark.
I mean, there's a reason why it ended with question mark.
I'm
All right,
texting.
that line is done. Now I get to do one of the shorter lines. Finally.
And I'm just over here sipping on my Dr. Pepper like the good Texan I am.
I'm sipping on some cherry cola.
I don't know, man. Mr. Pibb has a better flavor than Dr. Pepper. I'm telling you.
I'll go with
Get your
Dr.
whore
K because
mouth
that's
out
what I
of
drink
this
right
chat.
now. Talon, don't make me mute you.
Them spider
We're in
words.
We're in after hours.
Are
To be
we?
fa-
Yeah,
No
we
offense,
might
but-
as well move into after hours now. Because
To
all
be
I'm
fair,
doing
would
is...
it would be much easier if, let's say, the single U was just down as U in the pronunciation instead of U, because we have
Okay,
4 different types
Rainiana,
of
I
U.
need the pronunciation
Oh.
translation of Vegishbana.
I can just a second so I can switch it over
Or,
here.
sorry, Vegeshbana.
So since we're in kind of a middle ground here, I'm proud to state that I've got to a point where I'm making an EDC kit I can mail out ahead of me when I travel. So I can have my
Nice.
equipment wherever I go.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just a
Is that
personal
supposed to be
victory, I guess.
Vege? Okay, thank you. I thought that was a typo, just making sure.
Normally, how it works, if there's an E and a beaten, it loses the I sound and goes back to E.
Okay.
There is some patterns, but it's awkward.
You know, I just thought about an interesting addition to the soda argument. Iron Brew.
The
There's
fuck
only
is
two
Iron
people
Brew?
here that have likely had it.
I'm guessing I'm not one of them because I don't know what it is.
It's made of girders, or it's made from girders.
It's made from radioactive gutters that's bright orange.
It is
I've
the
only heard
Scottish equivalent of Dr. Pepper, basically. It's like Fanta, but no, not Fanta.
I'm pretty sure an American on YouTube described it as a kind of odd tasting cough syrup that was carbonated. I say they have no taste.
I mean, people describe Dr. Pepper as barbecue water.
The fuck?
I think the equivalent that they were giving was it tasted like a very odd cream soda.
I can't really say anything. I love root beer. It is like the hands down my favorite soda.
Same.
Same.
My
Root
all-time...
beer is universally
There are
accepted.
different levels of root beer, too. You've got the
Oh,
El
yeah,
Cheapo
AW
Big K,
beer.
and then you've got Barks at the top.
IBC.
Well, no, I was going to say A&W is like
like-
best beer.
A&W is one step down from Barks for me. A&W and Mug are on the same level for me, but Barks will
Okay.
always be my favorite.
Okay. A&W, Barks, and IBC are all kind of right there at the top. Mug is way down at the bottom.
No, Big K is all the way down at the bottom.
Now, each one has their own merits. For example, if you want a root beer float, A&W, no question.
Mug.
You want just straight up good root beer to drink, Barks.
IBC.
You wanna
If you want a nice,
get really good.
no,
You want a
if
really
want
good root beer.
If you want a nice
want a really
cold
good-
one, IBC in the glass bottle.
No, Barks in a glass bottle.
Shut
It's
up,
hard.
You
you.
want a really good.
It's
You want a
hard to
really
find
good-
Are we
quality
really
wine.
arguing about root beer now?
Yes.
You want a really good
Okay, so-
adult root beer float? You want a really good adult root beer float? Not your father's root beer.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
now that's a
yeah.
good one too.
Oh.
Okay. Funny that you say that because I was going to say that another really good root beer has to be Dad's root beer.
That is a
I
good
don't know if
one.
you guys know that. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've
You know
had
what?
not your father's. That's always a good one.
Now, Nereidor was trying to say something. What were you trying to say, Reniana?
My bad.
Sorry.
Nereidor Kinohoi.
I think she was
Nish.
cursing us. That sounded like a curse.
I don't have a chancre, but I shall use it. But in theory, if a word feels too long, look for critical things to drop. The tense I won't because they are very specific. In colloquial, short and sweet. So you, in theory, half the sentences. So the fourth one is very big and very specific. It is in theory given in the context of part of an order. It's a command. But you could cut it down. But I would feel terrible to try and take that whole line and say, I don't want to say don't treat the Aroueti bad, because that sounds insulting. But it's kind of like, let's say, the Ten Commandments. There's the abbreviated version, and then there's the big version. So it's like the audio did not survive. It is on archive, free and archive. I found it once, but I couldn't record it. Where Karen says the Beskar, basically the Resonary rhyme. It was not saved on our website though. So the Resonary 6 accents get condensed into, very small, easy and sweet ways to teach children. It's a rhyme. You could, she, but she might work at speed.
I think it would pronounce easier with Shay.
Then go with she.
Urgeshe.
Well, I'm sure. I think Zell at Kamiba will be listening to feedback because as let's say English speakers.
Which word are we talking about?
So we're talking. Kadali was asking me about
I'll message
I moved
it
off
to you.
it. So he's asking about Rugishi. Rugishi is from Gishir, to judge. But
Yeah.
accents are different.
Rugishi.
So you would prefer the
Mm.
Gishi as well instead of Gouche. Guichet.
Yes, because the I does not make the A. The
Okay. I changed it in my
uh,
pronunciation then.
It's harder
yeah,
with
it would make
when me and Zell are speaking, we're actually talking about different sounds, and one is, let's say, Ika. Talgier says Ika, but in his pronunciation he gives it as the as in pin. There's no way to write that
Dougie.
in pronunciation.
Right here, Dougie.
That is my dog. He's a cunt.
Wait,
Sorry.
is it the little cunt or the big cunt?
Sounded like a little one.
The nuclear cunt.
The nuclear cunt.
Who can basically gas everyone.
Ah.
I know the one.
He's not the little shit monster teddy bear. Basically, I own a Jack Russell. My mother owns a Chorkey, and if you want one with three in your house, have two terriers, including one that's half Chihuahua.
Oh, we had a purebred Jack when I was growing up. Jack Rabbit with a fucking attitude, that one was.
What he doesn't want to tell you is that Jack was his name and he was just some random hobo.
She was a she, and her name was Nicole.
Some random lady hobo named Jacqueline.
It's been about 2016, so it's going on 8 years since we had to put her down for age.
The problem is tracking speech and accents. Karen is she was very phonetic. But this is going to sound bad, but when how to put it? English is a very unique language. We have a lot of sounds, if that makes sense. Some languages don't have that. It's hard to understand it. So some might just put O at one O, no OH, like some communities do, and it's kind of to let it kind of run wild. They don't know the sound and they can't enforce it. It's unstable. When you hear the armorer, who is, American, much like many other English-speaking dialects, they don't say cure, they say cure. It's something we naturally do when we see things in our brain that make sense. So it's car and not core, if that makes sense. Or it's a bit like why all U's seem to hate, R's at the end of words, and in Scotland we love them.
Oh shit.
So it's beer and not beer. So how the I was however going to say Kodali, but this might actually kill you. Mandalore stress moves as you speak. But the processing will help.
I mean, at least there's a base pronunciation for it. And I fucked up. I missed 2 lines, so I deleted it so I could redo it without showing an edit.
Unfortunately, you and Zell have submitted to my evil plans of getting someone to say as for me. I need to find that sound.
I offered, but she wanted to torture someone she didn't like.
I'm sorry, what word?
What's the word? Ass?
Right, so in my door, only one word was confirmed to have an which is a pat. So it's like pat, to pat your dog. It's the same as an
Like
American
pat?
Beth. I can't do the sound, but it's So it's how you might say bath.
Bath?
So my door technically has 3 A's. One is longer and identical to the first one, but there's a radical one. So is it Arden or Arden? So it comes in how specific you want to be. I was currently trying to code, 7,500 words of stress. So meaning we're high in our. To explain that to Cardens, when she does capitals, that's the strongest part of a word. So it's bispe, not bisbe. You go up. It's a bit like I'm saying desert and dessert.
Desert and dessert.
This is why I am not a linguist.
Neither am I. I would just say I'm an
If
air.
you give it,
But
if you give me the word, I'll try to pronounce it.
I've got 7,500 lines. If you wanted, I should give you them all.
Hey Zell, turn your attention to Twitch real quick. We had a first time chat and I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh, it's a bot.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Oh, yeah, that's a bot. Ban
Well, fellas, Neredor, I am going to bed. It's been almost 24 hours.
Yeah, you do that.
Dude,
No way.
it's
You do
only
it.
2:30 or what?
Apparently he's been up since 5 o'clock yesterday.
Why?
Because he's a fucking idiot.
I work nights.
Oh.
He works nights, and when he saw Kadali's post, he wanted to stay. It's socially
Well,
better
that doesn't
for my
mean
time.
that he needs to be awake for 24 hours.
No, but he wanted to support his body. Meaning you.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I know,
Even-
but he could have taken a nap or something. It's been like 5 hours since I asked that.
Yeah, but I also had to go get kolaches for the kids.
Don't
Okay,
bring
who-
the kids into that.
Who's gonna join me on Valheim?
I will be in a second as soon as
I
I
will.
finish this.
Oh, I forgot you were there, Julia. You gave me a heart attack.
I've been looking.
She's like, I will. Oh, shit.
Julie, just so you know, I did make a to-do list board. It's out in front of the house.
All
So
right.
if you need to know what needs to be done, there's a thing there for it.
All right. Let me know when y'all are home, and I'll come drop
We're
in.
on
I'm
it right
already
now.
on.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently getting iron.
Okay, I'll come on.
I would ask
Okay.
a favour if anyone has
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I cannot use the AI chat. If anyone wants to send me any random shit to be translated, I can happily do it. I would class myself as a translator, not a linguist.
All right, there we go. Done.
Either way, I'm dyslexic, so words, I'm not the guy to ask for.
I have dyslexia and men's ends, meaning one, dyslexic, and two, I'm not colourblind, but I struggle to read non-black and white. It moves for me, so no one here will probably ever see me in real life, but if I'm glaring at you, it's not because I hate you, it's because I can't fucking see you.
Nice.
Because you're blind.
Zell, would you like to try that again now that I have the pronunciation ready for you?
Where is it?
Mandola podcast. Hold on, I'll copy paste into Mandola. See, that's not what.
Bless you.
What?
I think he means because I'm kind of throwing a ball there. So remember when I said that 3 and an sound similar? It sounds similar because of what Karen Travis is doing. E is always normally going to be I. But ein, she is coding that specifically. She's got a Y in there. So it is actually
that's what I did. See, I copied yours, ma'am. Any typos in that top part is because of you.
I would be more pleased to know if you used the Excel that I sent inside Joha, but I don't know if anyone's looked at it, and I'm kind of like, eh.
I specifically copied your message. So any typos there.
Technically, I copy Zell because every time there's a problem, I hit him with a new message. Like, what do you want me to do? So, the pronunciation that maybe that might get released is very, it's not colloquial, but it would be more understandable to an English person, if that makes sense.
Right. So, Zell, you want to try that out?
No pressure.
You're wanting me to read this?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the pronunciations for the words.
Phonetic way, right? Kegishe etad. Ein mandoade no entayo. Well, that sounds fucking Japanese right there.
Oh, entayo.
No entayo. Durani ashada rokebrik. Hold on, that sounds weird on that one.
That sounded Japanese to me. Ashiada.
Henry Tosh with capitals.
Oh, okay, I see where that. Okay. Jetoresh Baal Shi Solosish de Kaish Nari Aade Agolish Haturuni Alit Vayer Borish I Tomaroten Sharkopad Borari Borar.
You said that right.
Borari Bana. My brain was like, nope, that's wrong. Wait, nope, that's right. I did it. Mir Shupor Ra Bala Na Ras Balbibat Entayo Ganai Gana No Jau Ri. Excuse me, burping. Par Kabor Bete Runi Nari solos koi oriwa dashla ibik kuyi medinorir te ibase dain be te rune kaish kishkuyi rude noe ijatgan ibatse maig shikedmir ashi ormayos ai nokoi duranir jorko pakaish ormanios vegishe vegish vegishe banai vegisha banana kash koi aru ra aru ai la ai te runi kaish kuyi so kuir rogeshi de kaish nari an kuyi sosol chor te put.
That one's either or. That's what that or's for. Therefore,
Yeah.
it's either boucher
Yeah, I was like,
or
wait a second, what the
boucher.
heck? Boucher ibik runi.
Now you just got to say it faster.
The difference
I'll be
between
practicing that.
the difference between boucher and boucher is a dialectal thing from Cantabas, and both were recorded. Shig was given by her originally as chig. It was easy for her to change it to sh, and by doing so, the word for helmet also means cradle in Mandalore or glass. So don't embarrass myself, but I know it sounds superior, but you will hear my stops, or even when I'm not sure of the sounds. Because I think speaking gives practice, it also helps people get around problems. If you have a stutter, or it sounds natural, you can change it. Kagishi tad. Ein mandoade no ite o. Duranir. Ashiada rukebrik. Sounds a bit clunky. Ketarish balshe Sholus ish de Kaishneri. A de Agalish hat Runi Ali Alit Vaeborishe Tomerotan Shadokupar Paroe Bana Mishipur Rabarla Na Aras Bal Bid Bad Enta Ogana No Jori Pa Tabir Bete Runi Nare Solus Kui Ariwadasla Ibik Kui Medinuir Te Ibasidain Ba Te Runi Kaish Gishkui Rudiniri I Jatigan Ibisa Maig Shakamir and She mijn juist ag. Nu kui. Doen right hier. Jord ku bekaist or mijn juist. Vegishe balna kaist kui. Ara. Arura. Aru. Aila. At. Tegen de kaist kui su kuier. Rukigishe. De kaist naru. I. En quis sol chortibache or bushe. Ibi kruni.
Yeah, I do agree that reading the pronunciations does draw it out a little bit, but it does help getting the sounding out a lot easier versus, okay, how do I say C-U-Y-E? And
Wait.
I think what I might start doing is actually merge the two together, but line up the words with their pronunciations top to bottom.
So I'm going to find a word, let's say in the new dictionary. It's not utterly coded. I've tried to stress, but I was trying to show sounds.
Right.
So it's line 16, and what is the word? Aurish. So I post this in Mandalore, and then so I'll try and take a picture of the original, how it was wrote, versus the ease for pronunciation. It's how our brains naturally want to translate it, if that makes sense. So this is Mandalore, but I've already put the O sound in, so it's not a-o-rish, it's a-o-rish.
Where are you posting that? Okay.
That should show in the dictionary I posted into Johan.
Right.
So O can take different sounds because it makes no sense, and it's hard for us to try and say a-o-rish. If we try and do them stops, we're going to stop in the middle of the word. But a-o-rish, we naturally do that. It's called a glide, and we say that to keep the rhythm. So O becomes A. So novor is not novor, it's novor. O in the first part. So novor. The only OH part is the end part.
Okay. Well, I think now is a really good time to wrap it up. I didn't realize it's been an hour and 50 minutes. I think this episode is just going to go straight to.
I think you mean everyone run, and if we're running, I'm going for the ceiling. So good luck to everyone. But Evan did good. Not as a master, and even to speak, you have natural accent, and the brain has to recognise sounds. So, phrases, in theory, children learn from their parents, or you copy, and it's hard. It's not easy.
I'm of the very firm belief that the different pronunciations is just different dialects based off your native language.
Different communities would totally disagree.
There are some that have gotten upset when it comes to certain pronunciation. Quite to the extreme, apparently. From conversation some of us have had.
So like me, kind of, you have dyslexia. That's not a stigma. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But some people might not like how, say, some people can do an R, or maybe someone has a lisp. If you speak it, does not make it incorrect. That's just how you speak. Doesn't matter. But some will try and force pronunciation. Speaking with Zell, we are trying to make the language more phonetic but stay true to the language, meaning nothing changes, but we're trying to explain the sounds. Talgiers was not built for that, if that makes sense. That just makes it more difficult to, but I could make Talgiers font change a whole computer to the font, but it won't be able to read it. Talgier is coding it to certain symbols, like, commas and hyphens. But it doesn't mean anyone is incorrect. Mine's not much better because I spent an hour and a half doing the tenets, knowing it was too big. But
Right. And mine's
What-
dead just because of translating the pronunciations to help, at least with the beginning of understanding the words.
well, I'm not being this nasty, but if you tell me, you can cut this bit out of the podcast. If you tell me in advance, I can do it. But an hour and a half, no.
I apologize for that.
Um,
I thought I posted that a lot earlier. I thought I did. It might just be when you saw it. But I
Have
did
you
post that many hours ago now.
we can cut this out as well. Have you saw the Excel sheet I left in Sajoha?
I saw the post. I have not had chance to actually go in and read it.
I would say throw it into Google because it means you've got your own copy and you can add to it. But in theory, if you search, hell as in help, it will show you any word with hell in it.
Okay.
So, help, helpless, whatever.
Right.
Fast is fine vocabulary, but I only did that because I'm working on the IPA, so I'm fucking with sounds. So how you might write the tense right now might be different than
In a month or two. Yeah, I understand.
Oh no, not a month. Fuck's sake, man. I was hoping to get ready for this week, but then I spoke to someone, and apparently IPA, so now I'm doing IPA. I could do Braille next, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, excuse me.
But
So let's start wrapping it up now. We want
yes, you
to.
can run. You can run to Valheim.
Yes,
You
I
are
can,
in with-
I can
you
run
are
to
in
Valheim and
withdrawal.
get away from language for a little bit.
Mm.
We appreciate everyone who listens to the podcast, whether it is live or streaming from your favorite site. I have been your host, Gadale Kebor, Ibe Kruni. Again, feel free to hit all of our socials. It is right there in the podcast description, our link tree. It's right there in our link tree. As soon as the dog will stop barking, I can actually be able to edit that part out now. It'll take you to all of our social medias, whether it's my TikTok, Kando's TikTok, the Twitch, the Faith's pages. That's all right there in the link tree. Yeah. Thank you for being here. Ibe Kuruni.
Ibe Kuruni.
Looking left to right, I think you're following me. Is it paranoia or am I losing control? As I get this feeling, I'm seeing things slowly haunted, hunted down, being ripped from my soul. My sanity descending into madness as I struggle with visions of violence, ending with a war in my You're